Attempting to define motion usually sparks a conflict between academic theory and physical reality. A tutor might see a life-changing shift in an object's position over time, but for a student sitting in a chair, motion is simply the obvious act of breathing or blood pumping. Both are right, but they are looking at different layers of the same fact. This diagram shows our planet rotating, hitting speeds of 1,670 kilometers an hour at the equator. Even when you feel completely at rest on a Saturday afternoon, the Earth is moving at a massive, constant speed underneath your feet. But whether you are moving depends entirely on your frame of reference. If you slide a chair across the floor, you are in motion from the perspective of the wall. But from the chair's perspective, you are perfectly stationary. You are traveling together. This core argument of comparison is the foundation of the theory of relativity. Albert Einstein demonstrated that the laws of physics are not fixed observations, but relative ones that change depending on the observer's viewpoint. Without a fixed point of comparison, motion is basically just gossip. To avoid that philosophical chaos, we have to move past visual intuition and into strict mathematical definitions. This diagram tracks a simple round-trip journey, 5 meters out and 5 meters back. The top counter tracks distance, measuring every step taken to reach a total of 10 meters. But the bottom counter tracks displacement, which is the net change from where you started. It ticks up to 5 and then returns straight back down to 0. A fitness band might celebrate 10 kilometers of distance covered during a morning run, but physics provides a harsher truth. Because you ended exactly where you began, your displacement for the trip is 0. That same specificity applies to the difference between speed and velocity. A scooter speedometer shows speed, a simple number. Velocity takes that number and adds a mandatory second layer, direction. This graphic shows why direction matters mathematically. When two objects approach head-on, their velocities are opposing vectors. To calculate their relative velocity, we add these vectors together, resulting in a compounding speed much higher than either object is traveling individually. When dealing with massive objects like this steam locomotive, direction is a matter of physical consequence. Predicting the motion of tons of steel requires more than a casual observation of speed. It requires the precise vector calculations of velocity. Adding that layer of direction is what separates a casual observation from scientific accuracy. It turns a vague description into a predictive tool. We feel these concepts before we learn them. Acceleration is the rate at which velocity changes. You experience this as a physical jolt when an auto rickshaw suddenly starts at a green light. That snap of whiplash is your body reacting to a massive change in velocity over a tiny window of time. The math remains the same when you slow down. When the driver slams the brakes and your head whips forward, you are experiencing negative acceleration. Mathematically, speeding up and slowing down are the same mechanism. The first equation, v equals u plus at, shows final velocity is starting speed plus acceleration's change. The second equation finds distance, adding constant speed travel to the extra distance from speeding up. The third equation completes the toolkit, used specifically when time is unknown. These equations provide a mathematical framework for our physical intuition. They translate the common sense of movement into a predictable, organized system. A skeptic might still ask where these specific formulas appear in a daily life that doesn't involve a textbook or an exam paper. But the human brain is already running these kinematic equations subconsciously. Every time you cross a road, you are estimating the velocity of approaching traffic, calculating if you have enough time to cross. Every cricketer running for a catch is computing a trajectory in real time. Our survival instincts and muscle memory are simply applied physics. We understand the math even when we don't have the labels for it. Having these formal labels allows us to apply those same rules to environments we can't physically touch. On the surface of the moon, gravity changes. But because equations of motion are universal, we predict human movement before they land. Physics does not invent the rules of the world. It provides the vocabulary necessary to finally understand the forces we have been interacting with since the day we were born.